Welcome to the Stress-Free Dentist Podcast. I'm Dr. Eric Block. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, burned out, or like your practice is running you instead of the other way around, you're in the right place. Each week, I sit down with leaders in dentistry to share the lessons they've learned from their successes, failures, strengths, and setbacks. And the goal is simple, to help you build a more efficient, productive, and less stressful career, and a better life outside of it. For more resources, books, and upcoming events, visit thestressfreedentist.com. Now let's get into today's episode. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode. And today I'm joined by Michael Strohecker, who is the co-founder and chief growth officer of LuxCreo, a 3D printing company. And I got to meet him a few weeks ago at the Glidewell IOX symposium, and we got to know each other. And we met, and I'm like, I got to get you on the podcast because I love 3D printing, and Michael's a great guy and has a lot of knowledge, very experienced in the dental industry. And Michael, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Dr. Block. It's a pleasure to be here, and it was great meeting you at the IOX event.
Yeah. So first, Michael, where are you zooming in from?
I'm in the Bay Area, if you can tell. I got the Golden Gate in the background, and I live just south in a town called Palo Alto, right near Stanford, for those of you who know the area.
And is that where you're from?
Yeah, I'm actually am. My son is going to be the fourth generation of the same high school, so Palo Alto High School.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I mean, there just must be so much tech out there, right? Palo Alto is one of the tech hubs of the world, right?
Yeah. This is there's a few traditions in Palo Alto. One is the venture capital, tech, high tech, but also starting your company in your garage, and that's where LuxCreo started, was in my garage here in Palo Alto, and true Silicon Valley fashion.
And in that garage, what was the genesis of LuxCreo? How did you get involved with dentistry? How did you get involved with 3D printing? Tell me the whole origin story.
Sure. Well, we were brought in to evaluate some technology out of Georgia Tech and Tsinghua University, and this was nanotechnology and material science, that some to lend to higher performance material printing, making it easier. And the investors that we've known for a long time, Kleiner Perkins, happened to be also the original investors in Invisalign. So we all got together with the technologists and decided that, yes, we can make a business of this, and we can actually solve problems in the dental industry. Orthodontists, they've had the thermoformed aligners, and we knew that it's the best that could be done with the technology of the date, but from a material point of view as well as from a manufacturing point of view. And I've been 3D printing in aerospace since 1995, so I've touched every technology you can see. We got all the toys for airplanes and satellites. So coming in with experience on 3D printing, analyzing and both the market as well as the technology, we decided that we can really make a difference in dental. And we thought LuxCreo is not a Me Too company. We really wanted to make this a mass adopted technology. So we built it with that mindset.
And formerly, you said you were in aerospace. What kind of work did you do there?
Yeah, I'm a mechanical engineer in material science by education. I worked at McDonnell Douglas on the materials and NASA blended wing program in the 90s. That material is what's being used on the Dreamliner A380. Then I thought that airplanes and fighter airplanes were, with 35 years till you see a product fly, was a little bit too long for someone right out of college. So I moved back to the Bay Area into Palo Alto, where I worked for Space Systems Loral for almost 10 years. And that was doing satellites. And so everybody probably knows Sirius Radio. We were one of the founders of Sirius Radio. It's one of my first products from a structures point of view. Space station battery pack, another product. And then XM we got after their satellites failed. We were on the Tiger team there to figure out for the insurance company why, and we replaced those and had a lot of fun doing that. And they put me through business school, and we found a global star. If you know SpaceX, Starlink, please get it. I love it, especially if you want to go on a boat. All that technology we helped develop in the 90s. We were probably a decade or two too early, for that to work out. But I'm really impressed with where space and aerospace has gone.
And now LuxCreo is focused on 3D printing. Where did the name come from?
That was a funny one because we were in Boston, the four founders. We were in Boston talking about what should we be called, and we were at a dinner there. We came up with a bunch of names. LuxCreo was one of them. I think we were three bottles of wine into it, and woke up the next morning, and one of our founders had already bought the URL and trademark, and we were off to the races. But LuxCreo means, and this is the geeky side of our company, we're all very technical. Like I'm a master's in aerospace. We have a PhD out of Harvard, our CEO, and Georgia Tech PhD, and then Cambridge mathematics. That's us. And we thought Lux is light, Creo is create. And we create with light, literally. We create with light. And that's the basis for our platform and how we deliver value.
And tell me about the LuxCreo 3D printers. How do they differ, or what's their strengths versus other 3D printers on the market?
Well, I'll reorient the question a little bit because we got an award for the best 3D printer in at AAO because we've been in the Tech Select area for them for a few years now. And at the award podium, I said, "Would you please delete this as a category?" I said, I just put one slide up. I said, "It takes more than a printer." And that's our mindset. Like for us, like for me, airplanes and satellites, it's a complete system. It's a systems approach. Our company, we founded it on that. And we found that for us to bring unique value, you have to control the end-to-end process. So that's end-to-end from materials, hardware, post-processing, finishing work, CAD/CAM, automated 3D printing software, which we call one-click, and I can get into that a little bit. But the whole point is that if you can deliver an end-to-end solution with a systems mindset, trying to make everything as simple and repeatable as possible, then you can deliver unique value. So when people ask us about how our 3D printer compares to others, I say, well, we're probably the best out there, but take that with a grain of salt. I'm pretty proud of our hardware team, but we do make things super easy, and we minimize all the effort. And that's a big point because we feel the doctor, the staff, and the patient are the heroes in this story. It's not us. And we partner with them to understand any of the friction that they have either from onboarding or executing every day, fitting it in their day to day. And I can get into more details, but I've got a lot of scars from delaying our launches because we wanted to make sure that the user experience was great.
Yeah, I started 3D printing, I want to say 10 or 12 years ago, and I had an old filament printer, and I did just mainly my surgical guides for implants, and it looked like kind of like a hot glue gun style, and it was the size of like a big microwave, and I'd print it overnight because it would take 3 hours. And for me, I remember to learn how to use it because it was not a dental company or a dentally focused company that made the printer. I had to reach out to all these, Facebook groups, and it was not easy. I had to get from the time I could actually print a guide to the time I bought the printer, it was like weeks of me trying to figure this thing out. So the fact that you're making it easier and easier and more streamlined, like I'm interested in that one click you said. But as dentists, we don't have much time to be playing around and figuring out how our equipment works. We're busy. We have busy staff. We want to make it easy for our staff because our staff, unfortunately, may be coming and going, and there's a lot of staff turnover. So if you have new staff that comes in to train them on how to use the printer, you want that to be easy. So that's great that you have the dentist in mind to make it simple.
Yeah, I'll give you an example to that. It's what we call one click. I think that term is starting to be adopted by many companies now. But I'll tell you how our one click is different. And this is why it just works. We onboard everybody everybody who joins LuxCreo has to print design, learn how to iOS scan. They don't have any dental experience, no 3D printing experience. They have to learn how to iOS scan. They have to learn how to bring that into our software and create an aligner. They need to know how to print it and post-process it, and then have it in their mouth all in less than 3 hours. And it's very few minutes of work when they're doing the process, but the end to end is under 3 hours. And so we have that mindset. The reason why it works is, say, with splints or night guards or any of these 23 indications that we support, because we're global, we're in every major market north of the equator and now South America. We're Australia, New Zealand, we're getting into Africa, and we're in the Middle East. So all of those, that you can imagine how many different splint designs there are out there, or how many flipper designs are out there, or how many aligner and retainer. All of these designs we gather and create libraries. And then we print and we print and we print until we've minimized the number of supports, minimized the effort through the whole process, even the finishing, and it works every time. So the angle is always set. There's no tinkering. I said in the company, tinkering is a 4-letter word. And so we don't want any tinkering. And I see a lot of that in the industry. And you can tinker on the side if you want, it's open. But when you're really trying to execute, your staff's trying to execute, you just want it to work.
And you mentioned aligners or retainers. Can you actually print a retainer, or do you have to print the model and then do like a suck down?
Yeah, that's a great question. Traditionally, you would need a model, but you don't with us. We're the first to get FDA for direct print aligner and retainer. And we have MDR CE. We're the only ones with that. We're the only ones with CFDA in Japan, Taiwan. Like we're everywhere, globally certified, and you just print it. And you can think of, for those of you who are listening, that 3D print, you already know directly printing appliance is the right way to go. The advantages of directly printing an aligner is that you get a more accurate print than if you were to thermoform, because the thermoforming process doesn't allow you to snap fit using the undercuts. Then there's many advantages on the design. You can create any shape you want with the aligner. You can thicken. We have AI that automatically thickens to give it better clamping. We have standard protocols for normal healthy adult, elderly perio, or juvenile with partially erupted molars. And then I am blown away by the last few years of doctors, what they've come up with, because it's like this unlimited palette for them. Like I was at EAS and this European Aligner Society in Brussels. We had Dr. Ian Hutchinson presenting root torque. It's the first time you could do root torque with clear aligners and standing room only, and with his talk. So doctors are innovators. They're super creative. They're entrepreneurs, and we want to support that. And that's how this platform has grown to what it is with doctors pushing it forward.
Yeah, so that sounds like the direct print for aligners or retainers. That sounds like a game changer, because the amount of time it takes for the staff, and time is money, and you're paying this staff wages. And it's also, if you've ever seen it done where they do the suck down on a model and then have to get the retainer off the model, it's dangerous. Using the burrs, and or I've seen some staff using this sharp knife to try to pop it off, and I'm like, that's just an injury waiting to happen. So to be able to direct print that is awesome, and the time for the staff is much less.
Yeah, we have many doctors that are trying to do the hybrid transition from thermoforming to direct print, and their staff look at the wall of the thermoform work they need to do and just go, ah. And then they look at the direct print, they're like, oh, this is great. They get excited. But it also is transformational for the patient. You can do same day start. You can do next day start depending on your team's availability. And then if there's any remakes, sorry, my dog ate it, or I left it in the napkin again, that you can quickly make one. New business models are being created, and this is kind of a universal trend, I think, where doctor and staff enablement lend to an ARR, annual recurring revenue for the practice, and patients love it. They can get a replacement, whatever they want, a refresh. I've seen so many business models that work. One doctor, I might have mentioned this to you, and at the IOX events, it's like she went to a membership model and had 800,000 views on her social media and a 5-year backlog on patients just with one post, and that's all with in-clinic enablement.
Yeah, we actually for a while we stopped doing in-house retainers because of the time it would take. It turned out it just wasn't worth it for us.
Mhm.
It was just easier to just scan and send it to the lab. But to be able to do it and keep everything in office without, much of a lab fee, is awesome. But I was just thinking, the staff. So staffing is still a major issue in dentistry. Assistants come and go. You have to train new staff. Staff, when they see what you're doing and that you're fully digital and you're printing instead of, like you mentioned, a lab full of stone and model and alginates and thermofoils that people have to get to. If a new staff member comes in and sees that, guess what? They're going to probably want to work for you. And you can attract top talent and keep them if you make things, if you're, advanced technologically. And then the patients, like you mentioned, the patients sense this.
Mhm.
They sense that you are on the top, you have your finger on the pulse of technology. And I'm a fully out of network practice, so I need to do whatever it takes to give my patients a great experience. So to show them that you're using the best technology out there is that's gold.
Those are great points. Absolutely. The digital journey, when you bring the patient into the digital journey, I've seen this in all over the US as well as in Europe. Any any doctor who really commits to digital uh, and also brings the patient within that journey, they build stronger ties, better relationship, more trust. Uh, they they really buy the patient really buys in to what you're giving them at the end. Because they like I one doctor that comes to mind, which we have an event with later, is Dr. Eric Schuning in Chicago. A small practice. He's just now tripled in size because he gets referrals off of the building these great digital experiences. The patient gets to see the scan, sees the scan go to design, goes to the print, and then they get it in their hand and they put it in their mouth. The opportunity within clinic, because we help labs and like Glidewell and others, and we help clinics in their production capability. So we believe that there's a hybrid. Do what makes sense in the clinic and do the rest at the lab if it's volume, especially with aligners. You can do very quick starts and send the rest out to us or one of our partners. But that being said, there is a huge opportunity, and I think that no matter, even if it's not with us, uh, dentists and orthodontists, they can give more choice to the patient if they're printing it themselves. And this is called, what we call it is the Goldilocks technique. You print a splint. You can talk about splint or a retainer. You can do comfort, medium tight, and tight. And you can print them all at once. It's going to cost you a total of $15. And and then you give the patient choice to, do you like it this? Do you like it like a little tighter or not? And then once the patient gets to make the choice, they are committed to wearing it. The compliance is way up, the patient satisfaction is way up, and then referrals come. And they're like, it's the first doctor that actually gave me a choice, and so that I think is a huge opportunity. It's untapped as I'm seeing it, and it doesn't have to be with LuxCreo; it can be with others. Ours just is very repeatable, and you can execute it very easily. But it's something that I think it should be considered for in clinic workflows.
Yeah, I love that. And it doesn't take much more time at all to print three versus one, right?
No time, no extra time. And on the finishing side, since it's so easy, like a splint for us takes just a few seconds, and there's not all these supports everywhere. you can execute that, or your staff can execute that. A lot of doctors, they are able to outsource all of this to their staff on day 3.
Yeah, you mentioned bringing the patient into the journey. Uh, and I still don't do this enough, but when I do, patients love it when I bring them back and show them my back lab where my printer is and
Hmm.
my fast mill, and I tell them this is my little happy place, and I'll show them, something printing. They are wowed by it. Most people have heard about 3D printing, but a lot of people have never seen it. So if you
Yeah.
can show them that, they are going to be wowed. And then I have a lot of engineers as patients, and they geek out about it, and they just love it. But anyone just gets a kick out of 3D printing, and like you mentioned, those people are going to refer their friends and family, and you're going to get referrals out of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I see it everywhere. And I'd say that now if anybody is experiencing 3D printing and having pain with tinkering or it's not working, just know that's solved. Like my son has 2 Bamboo Lab printers and he prints all the time. He designs something, sends it over, prints, and it works the first time. And so if it's not working for you the first time or all the time, then just know that that's solved. LuxCreo has solved that for dentists and orthodontists and their staff. So you shouldn't settle for that type of pain. But then you can also have fun. So I might be jumping the gun here, but one of the things for everyone who's listening, Dr. Block told me about ROI and ROF, and I was blown away. I told my whole team. So we have 200 people in our company. I told everybody, and then I tell people, even when I'm walking around, you do have a return. Do you know what ROI is first? So we anchor with business structure and goals, but then ROF, and they look at me confused. What the heck is ROF? And when Dr. Block said our return on fun, I said, you got it, because when staff and doctors know that they can trust a system that will just work for them every time, they want to do more and more and more. And I see doctors going like, I want to do more. They come after about 3 months, and we start them off with 3 basic things, and that's a retainer, splint, a liner, and then they might want to get into flexible partial denture or something else. But then they say, well, I want to do stuff like this. Like, this is a penguin. You can print a penguin. You can print things that fix. So say that, like, I just had a doctor call me, what is it, 2 days ago? They said, hey, I want to get a tough material so I can put a new door handle on, or a drawer handle on this, or a new stand for my scanner or something like that. I'm like, that's all easy and doable. And then another doctor complained about all this resin being used because the staff come in on the weekends now so they can print for their family and friends. So it's super fun. They get excited, and we just want to enable that more.
Yeah, and personally, as a dentist, if there's something that I'm excited about and I enjoy going into work because of it, whether it's a printer, a scanner, or AI, or adding sleep apnea, and it's something that makes me look forward to going into work every day, it's worth it. And that's what, to me, ROF really, really means.
Yep.
And you could probably crunch the numbers and tell us, the ROI on it. I'm sure it's there, but again, to me, I love it so much, and so much more fun. And it's something that when you start printing, you look back and you're like, I could never go back to doing it the traditional way. It just becomes like the next level way of doing things. Um, and then you mentioned, we talked earlier about case acceptance. And I'm still trying to fix this, but still have some night guards and
Mhm.
retainers that are in my back cabinet that I'm just waiting for the patients to come in for the delivery. But
Mm.
if you could get the patient more involved with this, the one click the same day or the next day, they're going to come back, and you're going to be able to follow through with that treatment and get more case acceptance, right?
Yeah, I'll tell you. I like to tell about things that are coming also. So this is our vision, especially for dentists, right? Just imagine that you're able to, for on a cleaning visit, that you're able to help them with a liner, retainer, or splint. You don't have to have a special a special visit or a second visit. You take care of it right there. We're working very closely with doctors to have that as the standard workflow. So you scan everybody who comes in. Okay. You have a discussion around alignment. So maybe it's they could take advantage of a 5-stage. We see most dentists around 14 stages or less, some 20, but not more than that. And they're doing spectacular with this workflow. It's they scan them, they have a quick consultation. They while they're getting cleaned, like if they said yes while they get cleaned, they can have the aligner after the cleaning. And it's transformational on case acceptance because they're already there. They may have to go out for an hour, do a couple errands, come back, but they can get started that same day. We're getting this down to where you don't have to go out for another hour, and it could be handed to them after the cleaning. So that is transformational from an efficiency point of view for the practice, but a convenience point of view for the patient. And it's just an easier way to say yes. When you do in clinic also, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. We are able to support a partial sale. So then instead of saying $4,000 or $5,000 or $3,000, depending on who you're treating, they don't have to pay it all at once. This is out of pocket for most anyways. And that's great because you can start them with, say, $799 and you get them on plan. If they need to save money to continue, it's fine. Our material is only material with active memory, so you can use it for retention, which is kind of mind blowing. You can drive your car over our aligner and put it in hot water, and it goes right back to shape. There's no aligner like that, right? And that opens up these new business models. So when you look at case acceptance on a partial sale in a workflow that doesn't add another chair visit, it's just blows people's minds.
Yeah, that is interesting to give the patient an option to just get started. If they can't afford the full treatment right away, to give them that partial treatment and at least get them started and get them going.
Mm-hmm.
I love that idea. And then you mentioned I do this with every new patient, but I'm going to start doing this more with our yearly or 6-month recalls, is to take that diagnostic scan and show the patient their images. And I even have the patient, stand up and come over to the computer and let them, you know, use the mouse and move their teeth around. To me, that is the now and the future of dentistry and the exam. Um, and when people see their teeth like that, dentistry just sells itself. They'll start picking out, some crowding or an old filling that they want replaced, or a metal margin to a PFM crown and want it replaced. And then guess what? If they want to move forward with something, you've already done the scans. So
Mm-hmm.
you've already done that if they want to start with aligners, they want a night guard or want a retainer. So I think that's a great point that you made.
Yeah, no, it's super fun to see how it transforms the workflow. And so seeing patients, getting the staff involved, having the right talk tracks, and then the right process for when the patient arrives. So like I mentioned, that workflow, I can provide more details maybe a later date, but it just works. And by having the digital workflow there, it just opens the mind of the staff and the doctors so that they can do more with less time. And that's it. So I'll geek out a little bit here. We call our aligner system 4D aligner, but it does hit our approach, which means 4 dimensions. This is X, Y, and Z. That's the three dimensions that we know, and then the fourth one is time. So that's what we're taught in engineering and math and all that. So 4D means we save the doctor and staff time, and we save the patient time, and that's the whole purpose, is to save time. So you get more control, more flexibility, and you save your time.
And then, according to Interstellar, the movie, the fifth dimension is either love or gravity. I forget which one, but um,
That's right. You need it,
yeah,
and somewhere fun needs to be a dimension.
yeah, for sure. Now, you have been all over the world, seen dental practices, all over the world. What are the offices that are just crushing it and they're just doing awesome? What are they doing that they're doing so well?
Well, number one, it is focus, and it depends on how big the practice is. If it's really big, multiple doctors, multiple sites, then they can do a lot more. But I see dentists killing it on aligners, just doing 5 to 14 stages. That's it. And I have a guess that it's somewhere between 50 and 80% of everyone who comes in for a cleaning could be a candidate for this. So you have this massive flow, and if you can just do the simple ones, we're coming out with a case selection AI that will help green light, red light, and that'll make it even easier. But I see that splints, night guards. I see doctors paying for a system, so $25,000 system in 3 months. It's just splints and night guards, retainers, and or a like if you have an extraction case where the back molar is not really seating up against the implant, you might need to do a minor correction with the back molar. I see that being done just without thinking. It's just so easy to do. Before you had to shave off the model and then do a thermoform, and it's just very complicated. Dr. Clark and many others are doing inlays. I think you should still mill a crown, like 100% mill crown, but an inlay works really well when you have a lot of the crown intact. The precision is unmatched when you print it like that. But I see from a sanity point of view, from a doctor's sanity point of view, the faster the doctor can outsource this to their staff, the better. And you can do so much when you're focused on the patient, maybe the design and the diagnosis, all of that. Just stay on focused on that and trust your staff. Especially like with our partnership with Glidewell, the staff are fine once they're onboarded, and once they're having fun with it too. They know they don't have to go to their doctor about this. They just come to Glidewell or to us, and we take care of it. And it's just out of sight, out of mind. It just happens, and they really, really love the ownership. Staff love the ownership of this. So I'd say sky's the limit. 23 different indications if you're a big practice. If you're a smaller practice, focus and just kill it on a few splints, retainers, aligners, probably, and then bring in flexible partial denture. That would be it, and then trust your staff.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. You've already given a bunch of great advice, but I do like to finish up with two final questions. Number one is, how do we find out more? And number two, what advice would you give to the young dentists out there?
Okay, well, find more. You can come to luxcreo.com, and you can always maybe you can share my email with them. Anybody, you have a lot of followers, so we'll see how that goes. But I'd say we engage with many universities, and this is all over the world. And I really love the enthusiasm of the students, the creativity, especially the master students who want to do research. They co-research with us, or we just enable them. So I'd say anybody who's in that realm, please hit us up. We'd love to push the envelope. But what we recommend and try to inspire in students is the digital workflow. And it goes beyond what we're doing. We have an end-to-end, which is great, but really the theme is digital, and digital gives you a bigger palette. You can do more personalized care. You can do faster care. You can do better care. But you need to be familiar with it. So if you're a student, get into 3D printing, get into the digital design, like roll up your sleeves, learn the digital workflows. You'll see which one's better, which one's not. But without digital, you're going to be stuck in the past, and the industry is moving that way rapidly. And it's because it's better, easier, and you can do more for the patient.
Love it. Great stuff. Michael Strohecker, thank you so much for joining us. Such a great episode.
Oh, great. Thank you for having me. I just shout out to everyone. Keep doing all the great work you're doing. And Dr. Block, I'm again, so impressed with everything that you're up to.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to the Stress Free Dentist podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another dental professional who could use a little less stress in their life. And head over to thestressfreedentist.com to check out my books, resources, and upcoming events, all designed to help you find more balance and joy in your dental career. And remember, you're not alone in this journey.